Hi everyone, it's RetroLooker, and today we are going to be discussing one of the scenes in The Last of Us 2. Now, let me come in straight away and say this video will contain heavy plot spoilers for The Last of Us 2 storyline. So, the video we're about to watch takes place about 2 hours into the game, give or take. So, if you are not past that point, if you have not got to Seattle yet, do not watch any further unless you don't care about storyline spoilers, or unless it is, of course, you already know about it. So let's just first go in and watch the video, and then we will talk about it afterwards and talk about what it did to me, what it meant to me, why it meant that to me, and I also want to hear from you. I want to know, did it affect you in a similar way? Did it affect you worse? Did you just not give a shit? So let's jump right in and watch the video, and it is my reaction to the scene, and then we will come back and chat about it afterwards. So let's go, shall we?
What are y'all doing out this way?
Just passing through. You two live nearby?
We do. A few hours down the hill. Y'all should come back with us, restock before you head out.
Appreciate it. I'm Mel, by the way.
Tom,
Mel.
this is my brother.
She's pregnant with that guy's baby.
Joe.
The faces.
Y'all act like you heard of us or something.
Because they have.
No.
Laura, all clear?
He's out. Put him against the wall.
Tommy! Get off me! Get off me! Puta madre.
I knew she was the bad guy.
Miller.
You know his full name and everything.
Who are you?
Guess.
Why don't you say whatever speech you got rehearsed? Get this over with.
Tourniquet his leg. Do it.
Don't you fucking move. God! Damn it!
Clear out. You stupid old man. You don't get to rush this.
Shoot at Ellie. No! Oh, Ellie!
Pin her down! Get off me! Get her hands! Get the fuck off me!
Bitch! You got her! Look, you got her! Okay?
You're gonna fucking die!
That anger.
What's going on?
Let him go!
Who is that?
Let him
She
go!
snuck in.
Why aren't you posted up outside?
We didn't think anyone was gonna show up.
What the hell did you expect? We gotta get out of here before the whole town's on top of us. You're done.
You want what I want, right?
End it. Now.
Joel, get up. Joel, fucking get up! Please stop! Please don't do it! Joel, please get up! No! Fucking kill you! Ellie. I'm sorry. Jesse! They're down here!
Okay, so that was the video, and as you can see, it absolutely fucking destroyed me. Now, I haven't watched it again, okay? I lived through it, and I kind of had to watch it and bypass it a bit while editing, so I have not watched it again because I really can't do that again. And it broke me. It really broke me. I mean, since the first trailer came out and everyone was very excited, you know, there was sort of, oh, I hope they don't ruin it by killing off Joel. And it was just kind of a thing. It's like, no, they can't kill off Joel. It's Joel. We love Joel. They're not going to kill off Joel. And then spoilers started coming out, and I was very, very lucky. I did not see any spoilers, but a lot of my friends were attacked by internet trolls, and they came right out and messaged him and said, hey, I see you like The Last of Us 2, guess what? And they were really pissed off about that. But even my friends who knew it was coming were extremely shocked, were extremely hurt and upset in a similar way to me, but you know, so I want to talk about what it did to me. Now, I first played The Last of Us 1 on the day it came out, 7 years ago, in 2013, on PlayStation 3. And I've told this story before, and, you know, for about a year before, it was up for pre-order in the supermarket, and I remember seeing the cover, and I said, that looks cool, and it was obviously Ellie and Joel on the front cover, Ellie with the rifle over her shoulder. And that looks cool, and it was just for pre-order for like a year before it was actually out, and I was always checking on it, seeing if it was out yet, and then one day it was just out, and I bought it, and I went home, and I played it, and it's literally become one of my favourite games of all time. And, you know, there's a lot of Last of Us haters out there, you know. Every game isn't for every person. There's a bunch of games that I don't like that some of my friends say to me, like, really? You don't like that game? And I'm like, yeah, it's not for me. And that's fine, you know. But the game itself, you know, it was a PS3 game. You know, it was 7 years ago. For the time, it was pretty good. It was pretty groundbreaking. And then it got remastered, and it was even better. The gameplay and mechanics aren't, like, groundbreaking. They're pretty simple, I guess. Uncharted is more fun, if you like, but we're not playing for that. We're not playing for the combat and the action. We're playing for the story, and that is what originally touched me about the original game, was the story, the bond between Joel and Ellie. Joel is this stubborn, old man who's sort of stuck in his ways, and he's lost his daughter, and he's got a big wall up in front of him, and he doesn't want to, you know, remotely embrace any feelings of anyone ever again. And I mean, you know, my dad's nothing like Joel, but you know, you say, you know, he reminds me of my dad, and I'm sure a lot of you might agree. You see a bit of your dad in Joel, and you grew attached to him, you know, you cared for him. He was a father figure, not only to Ellie, but maybe to us as well. And, you know, we've had to live with him through many playthroughs for 7 years. And in The Last of Us 1, he did the wrong thing as far as saving humanity is concerned, you know, sacrifice one to save millions. And he chose selfishly. He said, I don't want to lose Ellie, and I'm going to keep her. And that's what he did. And somewhere along the line, Joel's crimes from before have caught up with him. And what Naughty Dog did was very clever. They made you play as Abby first. So we didn't think she was the bad guy. And we kind of got to live as her and feel as her just for a bit. And we got to sort of sympathize with her. So when she turned out to be the bad guy, we're like, whoa, or maybe see it from her point of view. But like, it broke me, and I had to stop filming. It wasn't just Joel died. It wasn't just Joel was killed. It wasn't a zombie bite. You know, another way they could have done it is Joel could have got bit by a zombie while he was with Ellie, and Ellie had to put him out of his misery. That would have also been a hard thing to do. But they didn't go that way. It's also like, you know, he wasn't just killed in a raider attack, a stray bullet, fallen down a cliff. You know, there's a number of ways he could have died before today. Ellie said it in Left Behind. Or Riley said it, I can't remember which one, but he said, you know, there's a million ways we could have died before today, and there's a million ways we can die before the morning. So, you know, he could have died a million different ways, but the way they chose was, like, so personal, so angry, so brutal, without mercy, drawn out, torture. And that was really hard to watch. And not only did we have to watch it as ourselves, we also had to watch Ellie experience that firsthand. And it was just really, really painful, because it's like you could see it happening in front of your eyes, like a train wreck or a car crash. And although you can see it coming, and you're screaming at the screen saying, stop, you know, but you can't do anything about it. It's coming. It's coming whether you want it to or not. And, I mean, if you watch the video, it's like you can literally see the second my heart breaks with, like, overwhelming amount of pain. And it wasn't just like, you know, if you watch like a sad movie and it's a bit sad, and, you know, it's a movie you've never seen before and it's not in a franchise, it's just a one-off, and it's kind of sad and the characters are doing something and the music's going, and, you know, it's like, it's meant to overwhelm your senses and you get a bit teary or well up a bit. It wasn't like that. I mean, it was, you know, the music, all I could hear was like flashbangs going off louder and louder. And it wasn't like that, though. It was like, it wasn't just upset, it was hurt, it was pain. And I know a bunch of people who won't give a shit, and that's up to you, and that's fine, but I want to talk about maybe why I was so upset, or why it hurt me so much, or why I cried like I did. Because recently I've done some videos. I did a video of the Assassin's Creed trailer react, and at the end I cried. What the fuck, right? Where did that come from? It's not sad, it's not upsetting, it was just very powerful and very moving. And I wasn't expecting it, and it hit me like a fucking train. And a lot of people were very supportive, and I appreciate that wholeheartedly. But a lot of knobheads came out the woodwork, and they were very negative and very arseholery, if you like. And I've been called a pussy, I've been called a sissy, I've been called a soy boy. I had to Google that one. I've been called a bunch of different shit, you know, so, because I cried at a moving piece of cinematic, trailer, and it was like, yeah, it wasn't sad, you know, and some people, they just didn't understand, but some people fully understood. Even some people said, oh, I welled up as well, I cried, I'm with you, brother. And I appreciate that, but I want to explain, before the Assassin's Creed trailer, I hadn't cried for over 5 years. About 5 years ago, my mother died. And she didn't die of natural causes, and she didn't die nicely or peacefully. And not only was that extremely hard for me, but there was turmoil within the family for about a year after. And there still is to this day, and I had to walk away from it, and I'm literally on my own now, and that's fine. Just me and my wife and son, and I'm a lot happier for it. But when somebody so close to you, or someone you care about so much, dies, you either become extremely emotional and you get upset by the littlest of things and you become very fragile and frail, or what happened to me was I just became dead inside for a long time. I was filled with a lot of anger and hate and blackness within inside me. And, you know, it was my mum's funeral, and I didn't cry. I didn't show any emotion or anything. I was just there, and that was it. And I just didn't feel anything anymore. Like, and you know, in that time, in that 5 years, we had pets die. Now, anyone who know, when a beloved family pet dies, you're fucking sad. You know, it's upsetting, especially when they have to be put down or, you know, something else. It's really sad, and you cry. And I remember, you know, in the back garden, burying our chinchilla, and I just had nothing. So nothing, just emotionless, dead inside, empty. And I was worried. I was concerned that I needed to talk to somebody, a professional, about how I was feeling or how I was not feeling. And it really worried me. And then one day, 5 years later, I watched the Assassin's Creed trailer. And it was so strong and so powerful that it just came over me like a tidal wave, and it hit me like a train. And from that moment on, I've started to feel again, and all my emotions are coming back. And obviously they've been suppressed for like 5 years. So the other week I played through The Last of Us 1, and, you know, at Sarah's death, you know, there I am, tears down my face, getting sad. You know, throughout the game, you're welling up a bit, and then it wasn't, you know, I'd already played it before, so I knew what was coming. I knew about the sadness, I was expecting it. But in The Last of Us 2, I didn't know any of that was coming. It just, you know, that was a shotgun blast right to the face, literally, to the heart. You've taken your beloved character that you love and respect and have played as for years, and you've not only just killed them off or wrote them out, you have stamped on them and literally torn them to pieces and destroyed them in front of our eyes. And what I was worried about from the rest of the game was that they are going to show us just what a bad guy Joel has been over these past 20 years. 25 years, but since he met Ellie, he's turned over a new leaf, he's a good guy now. But it wasn't enough. I was worried that throughout the game we were going to learn that what a bad guy Joel was, and by the end of the game, or whenever we find out or learn more, that Abby was justified in her actions. that Joel deserved to die, and she was the one to exact revenge upon Joel, and she got her revenge. But that in itself creates a new kind of hatred and a new kind of revenge in Ellie. And Ellie will then go down that same path, seeking revenge for something someone else has done. And it's a vicious, vicious circle. So, yeah, that's kind of my thoughts on it. That's why it affected me so badly. That's why I cried like a little baby. And, you know, I don't know what else to say. I mean, I don't hate the game. I don't hate Naughty Dog. I did at the time. I hated Naughty Dog. After that scene, I had to stop filming, I had to stop playing, and I had to come off the game, and I didn't return for 3 days. And the only reason I actually came back and started playing, I probably never would have picked it up again. Or maybe for a month or two. The only reason I've come back is because everyone else is playing it and everyone else is starting to complete it, and it's like, I'm going to start seeing spoilers and stuff, and I need to power through. And I'm sure there's going to be other surprises in the game. I'm sure we're going to find out what a bad guy Joel was. I'm sure Ellie is going to find out what a bad guy Joel was. And Ellie is going to go through a lot more hurt. And so are we, probably. But I reckon that Joel's death was the worst that we're going to see. And the only other thing that could be bad, and I sort of theorized this in one of my episodes and said that, you know, I reckon everyone's going to die. Joel's going to die. Tommy's going to die. Dina's going to die. Everyone Ellie has ever known is going to be stripped from her. And when she's taken her revenge and revenge doesn't fill that hole. Revenge doesn't stop you from hurting. Revenge doesn't stop the hatred you feel in your heart for what's happened. And at the end, she might just say, you know, I'm done. You know, I'm still waiting for my turn, and end her own life. I don't know at this point. So, yeah, that's my thoughts. You know, I may have misinterpreted the scene. I may have misinterpreted Naughty Dog's intentions. You yourself may have looked at it a different way than I did. But that's the beautiful thing about film and music and video games, is that every individual person relates to what they're seeing and what they're feeling differently because they're drawing from their own experiences. And, you know, in my mind, Joel was a good guy. He was a good dad to Ellie because that's all she's known from him. He was a bit of a stubborn arsehole at first, and they had their disagreements and their falling outs, but when we played as Joel at the start and when we got to see those brief cutscenes, you saw how much he'd grown. You saw how much he'd grown into a father again. You know, he even made a joke and laughed and smiled. He even sang for Ellie, played the guitar, he made her presents, gifts. They had a good, close relationship. You know, better than, you know, me and my dad, maybe. Better than some of you and your dads, you know? And that's good. And he was a good man for what he did in that time with Ellie. And what he did outside of that up to this point has not mattered to us because we don't know about it. But we might find out, you know, he's a killer. He might have been a rapist. He might have, you know, hurt children. You know, up to this point, we just know Joel, you know, Ellie, saver, father figure, Firefly slaughterer. So, yeah, that's me. That's my thoughts. You know, let me know how it affected you. Were you broken? Did you have to stop playing? Did you just not give a shit? Has Naughty Dog ruined the game for you? Should they have stopped with The Last of Us 1? Is there going to be a Last of Us 3? I don't know this stuff, but I'm fully looking forward to continuing the emotional, heartbreaking journey we're going to experience, and so far it has been money well spent. So thanks very much for watching my video. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and there's a link in the description for merch. I'll see you later.